You're watching this video, so chances are you're ready to take the leap and quit your 9-to-5 job. You're sick of the mundane reality and you want more. Maybe you have ambition, you have goals, or you just know there's more to be had. So let me help you. In this video, I'm going to take you through the exact steps that you need to know to be able to quit your 9-to-5 job. And when I say quit, I don't mean so you can turn up homeless. I mean so you can exchange it in with something else. Ideally, you know, the kind of entrepreneurial lifestyle that you may desire. I'll break it down so it can be easy to understand. And I promise you, you'll walk away with a step-by-step plan. The first thing you need to understand when quitting your 9-to-5 is the reasons for why you want to quit your 9-to-5. And if the reasons are because you want that life of freedom and fulfillment and purpose, then you need to understand this. You can't get rich whilst working 9-to-5, and not because of the amount of money that you make, because trust me, there are some people that work 9-to-5 jobs, they get paid a ridiculous amount of money, but it's because of the rules that you have to play by. Just to kind of illustrate what I mean by that is that someone that works a job, they could get paid 100k a year, let's just say for example, but they only get to keep roughly 55-60% of the income that they make. So they'll be making about, 60k a year. Whereas the person that runs a business that gets paid 100k a year, they're almost able to play by the rules more and manipulate what the end outcome is. That could be through tax advantages or many other factors. But the end thing to know is that you are under a set of rules when working 9-to-5 because you get tax paid before you even get your payslip, which means that you ultimately have less freedom. So in order to live like the wealthy, you have to play by the rules, and you won't be able to do that whilst working a normal job. Now the next actionable step is to get out of the 9-to-5 mindset that you're probably stuck in. So the next secret to quitting your 9-to-5 is right in front of your face. It's not a skill, but it's something that you have to learn and understand. And I'm going to give you a good story of my own to help you understand it, because it's ultimately a mindset change. You see, when I started my entrepreneurial journey around 2 years ago now, I started doing social media management for local restaurants in my area. Now that worked fantastically until I kind of became lazy and I became content with what I was doing. So I knew I had to get a job. I knew I had to have some kind of income, and I went around those of the estate agents in my area because I wanted to get a job in property, and I applied to all of them. Now I got calls back from a few, I had interviews for a few, and I had one job offer from an estate agent that I really liked and I really wanted a job from, and the job was ultimately working 40 hours a week for £6 an hour, which was just around 1k a month at 18 years old. And now I valued the experience and the stuff that I would get alongside that a lot more as well. And it was that point that I realized that I have to value my own time. You see, when you're working a 9-to-5 job, your time value is decided for you. You are told how much an hour of your time is worth, and it was obviously determined by how much you get paid per hour. Whereas working for yourself, working on something else, or as an entrepreneur, you get to decide how much your time is worth. If you're going to exchange your time for money anyways, then you may as well get the highest rate possible for it. And that is what kind of switched my mindset into I'm never going to get a job when I was offered that £6 an hour job. So part of the mindset switch is understanding the value of your time, and the other part of the switch is understanding that you are just filling up someone else's pocket. I mean, this may not mean a lot for some of you, but in my idea, the fact that I'm working, trading my hours, which are extremely finite, in exchange to value to fill up someone else's pocket just never sat right with me. It's almost like you're putting this earth as a minion, and you're just constantly chipping away parts of you to someone else so you can fill up their pocket and they get to live the luscious life that you've always dreamt of. And really understanding that and understanding that you can actually be the person that ends up getting their pockets filled by putting some systems in place that work, that can switch everything up. And that helps you understand that it's not hopeless. And the best bit is about developing your mindset first before you do anything else is that there's no looking back. You don't develop your mindset and look and see what's on the other side of the wall and then go, you know what, I'd rather stay on this side of the wall. This like mundane corporate slavery lifestyle. So make developing your own mindset a priority. Build the solid foundation in which you can build everything on top of, because even if everything on top crumbles, at least the foundation is still there to build something else up. Alongside upgrading your mindset, you also have to understand what your beliefs are around the 9-to-5 life. Like, why do you want to work, or why are you choosing to work a 9-to-5? Typically, it's because of how we brought up and the system we went through, knowing as you were literally an infant, a child, you go to school, then you get a job, and you scale your way up in the job, retire, and to understand that you have free will and to kind of kill off that idea and say, I'm not going to be a part of that, I'm going to go down a different route, is difficult. But once you understand that, similar to upgrading your mindset, you don't go back. And one of the main reasons for people working 9-to-5, not only because they were told to, but also because of the security. You feel as if the job that you work, you can work it forever and no one's going to stop you. It's almost like you're locked in at this point. But you fail to remember, as soon as something like the pandemic hits, all your safety goes out the window. You see, approximately 18 million people were either temporarily or permanently laid off from their jobs during the pandemic, which completely knocks the idea out of the water that a 9-to-5 offers security, because all that has to happen is some sort of external factor or event that you can't control, and then your life is turned upside down. At least working for yourself and being in control of yourself, if something like a pandemic were to hit, you're in control of the outcome. You make the decisions on which can most benefit you, as per to having decisions made for you at which you are at the bottom of the priority list. So I'm afraid to tell you, and sorry if this hits you the wrong way, but you are taking a risk every single day. You are just not told that you are. So once your mindset is set and you've built that fantastic foundation, you really understand what's on the other side of the wall. Now it's time to start to supplement. And when I say start to supplement, you have to think about the benefits that you get from a 9 to 5, because not working a 9 to 5 and just going to a job one day and then not going into the next day will completely turn your life upside down. So you have to break it apart and say, what do I get from actually doing this? For some, it's the financial aspect, some the security, some the social aspect, right? And some fulfillment. And those things are fantastic, but it's the rules that you have to play by that makes them all completely worthless. So when going another direction down the path, your own direction, saying becoming an entrepreneur, you have to make sure that you can still obtain those factors that you actually enjoy. If it's a social aspect, it's now your time to go out of your way and find like-minded people that have the same mission as you. If it's a financial aspect, obviously now it's time to actually think about what service you can provide, or how can you make money, how can you generate sources of income. If it's a security aspect, of course, you have to build systems around you. You have to make your business multi-level so that if something crumbles, it doesn't all fail. And if it's a fulfillment aspect, of course, you can still pursue something that is in line with what you had as a career, but you just do it on your own. And you could do this a matter of few different ways. I mean, if you're the kind of person that performs best when they're under pressure, when they're on their back foot, when they have all the odds turned against them, then be that kind of person. Quit completely. Be on your back foot, because if you perform best when you're in that position, then do it. Put yourself so far outside your comfort zone that you have to perform. If you're a person that functions better when they have security, then slowly dilute your job, slowly down the hours and increase something else. If something else would be your side hustle, your business, or whatever you want to start. However you perform best, take that route. But the smartest choice to probably make would to be still working your 9 to 5 job whilst you start building something else up. Because for the majority of people, taking that risk and killing off everything and practically becoming homeless isn't the best route. So how do you start building something else up whilst you're still working your 9 to 5 job? It's all about your time allocation. And for the majority of people, the most common thing said is, I don't have time. And of course, everyone's situation is unique, so I can't account for everybody. For the majority of people though, you do have time. You just have to find that time, because there's a big chance that you have a lot more time than you think. You just haven't fully dissected what you do with your days to actually realize that you have that time. For example, something that I do pretty much religiously is I time block. Every night before the next day, I will schedule out what I do in my day by half-an-hour blocks or 15-minute long blocks or hour blocks. And if you did this, even if you were working a job, even if you had hobbies, even if you had things to do during the day, and you really block out the actual times during your day that you have things that you've made commitments to, you will find the spare 20 minutes, the spare half an hour, the spare hour that you didn't really know you had, that you can work on something that you want to pursue. All it takes is waking up half an hour earlier to actually find that half an hour to pursue what you want. When I was at college, I wanted to start my side hustle kind of business thing, but I had no time. What did I do? I started waking up an hour earlier. Bear in mind, I had to wake up at like 6:30 anyway. So I was waking up, I think, about 5 o'clock in the morning, so I could spend an hour and a bit working on my affiliate marketing side hustle thing, and then obviously I'll go to college. So you can always find time. You can make time. Just be truthful to yourself, honestly, brutally truthful to yourself. Where can you find time? If you can't do it yourself because you feel like you're being too lenient, give someone else your calendar and say, where can I find half an hour? Where can I find 15 minutes? Because those will start to add up. Throughout the week, if you can find 4 15 minutes or 3 15 minutes and 2 half-an-hour blocks, you can start putting more time towards something else. And the last bit to quitting your 9 to 5 is to understand that you have to take a risk. This isn't a risk-free kind of thing. For a lot of people, I know Alex Hormozy says it quite a lot himself, is that the hardest thing he ever did in his life was quitting his job, because it's scary. You have to take that risk and you have to make that jump in which you don't know where you're going to land. And that could be the hardest part of your journey, because your brain logically wants security and comfort. It wants to survive. It wants safety. It doesn't want ambition and goals and this kind of thing. Therefore, you kind of have to go against what feels natural. And if you want a final little piece of advice, exactly when it feels scary to jump is when you should jump, because that is when your lower self starts talking and says, you don't need to do that. We're fine just where we are. Although your true self knows that you want more. And that is it, ladies and gents. That is the video of how to secretly quit your 9 to 5. Now, if you like this kind of content, consider subscribing to my free daily email newsletter. I'll leave a link at the top of the bio. I won't say any more. Click on the link, look at the website. It'll take you 20 seconds and you'll be better off for it. I would also watch this video popping up on the screen now, and I promise you, you won't regret it. And I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.